So what I want you to do is print 2 copies of this document called fraction strips. And with 1 copy, you're going to leave it plain. Then with the other copy, you are going to cut the strips. I don't want you to cut each individual piece. I am going to assign you some of my colleague George Reuter's video, and he has the students cut like literally each individual piece. But I just think you have better things to do than sit there and cut and cut and cut. But I also have found some online manipulatives too that are, where you can manipulate each individual little piece. So please do this. Pause the video for a minute, and once you get these strips ready, then rejoin me. So once your strips are cut out, what I want you to do, the first thing that I would do to help students understand what's a fraction that's equivalent to a half. Okay, and a couple things that we can see here very nicely is why is it that, say, a third is smaller than a half, right? 3 is bigger than 2, but a third is smaller than a half. And I even talk about this in my upper level math classes. I talk about the cookie concept, where I say the numerator is the number of cookies. The denominator is the number of people showing up to eat the cookies. Okay, so if I hold my numerator constant, my number of cookies constant, the more people who show up to eat the cookie, like if 12 people come to eat the cookie, everybody gets less and less cookie compared to if only 3 people show up to eat the cookie. Okay, so I actually have to talk about that a lot in Calc 2. There's something we do where we look at fractions where the denominator grows. So that's something even in my upper level math classes, I talk about the cookie concept. But anyway, the first thing I would do here to help students understand what's a half is I would say take your fraction strip and find me all of the equivalents to a half, and then really pay attention to where I'm finding those. All right, I find something equivalent on the quarters strip. I don't find anything equivalent on the 5th strip. Something equivalent on the 6th strip, right? And let students notice a half is the same as 4/8, right? I'm only finding equivalent answers on the ones with the even denominators. All right, so that's something I should be noticing. Okay, and then maybe take my 1/3. Okay, where do I find equivalent fractions with my 1/3? All right, I find it on the 6th strip, on the 9th strip, the 12th strip. All right, so I might say to students, what do 3, 6, 9, and 12 all have in common? Right? Why am I finding the equivalents to 1/3 on the 12th strip, the 9th strip, the 6th strip, and the 3rd strip? Why is that? Okay, and then another thing that we're going to start doing with these is we're going to look at adding fractions. Now, it's not at all unusual for a student to think that a half plus a third would be 2/5. Right? Some of you are doing stuff like that on your basic skills. So I would go down here and show the students this sum is clearly not 2/5. All right, but then I would ask the student, well, where do I see the answer to this? Right? And if I go down to the 6th, well, look, a half plus a third is 5/6. Now, why? Why is a half plus a third 5/6? Well, a half can be written as 3/6, and a third can be written as 2/6. Okay, so I can see the equivalents right here. All right, and so I would give the students a few problems where they're adding fractions before I ever even teach them common denominator. First, I would have them give an answer, then I would have them say why. Okay, And we haven't even talked about a common denominator yet. So I would just be letting them explore by manipulating these fraction strips.